Hey, it's Josh from the Jestic Culinary Team here. Today we're going to be looking at Henny Penny's forehead fryer. So this is going to be a nice long video going from the start of the day to the end of the day. I appreciate you might be here for specific reasons, so we've got some timestamps down the bottom so you can skip to the relevant bit of the video for you. Otherwise, sit here and enjoy it with us all. So we're gonna put our filter pan back together now. We've cleaned it the night before. A little Joshy top tip would be to clean it end of the day so we can leave it to dry overnight. We don't want water in there when we're dropping hot oil for obvious reasons. So the filter pan's clean and dry. We're just gonna put all the components back in. So we've got our little metal baffle sheet. That is gonna go inside a nice fresh filter paper or filter envelope. So we'll slide that in, we'll fold it over. We're then going to use our clips just to hold our bag in place. That stops your debris from getting sucked back up through it. So we're trying to filter it out. We're then going to put our crumb basket, crumb catcher on top of that. Lips facing up, don't put it in the other way up. You won't be able to tighten it correctly. And then our return pipe holds the whole thing together. So we'll line that up. And we'll just screw that around. And we want that to finish at a nice right angle. Our lid then sits on top, and then we can lift our filter pan onto our runners. We then got our filter pan in, we just need to line it up with the pipe on the unit, and we've got our little nut there to hold it together. We want to do that up pretty tight, not too tight that we can't undo it, but we don't want air being sucked through the connection. We're then just going to put our condensation pan into place on the fryer. We want to make sure we're putting our dead weight back on to start the day as well. If we want to be cooking with pressure, we need this in place. So weight inside the little casing, and then we'll get it into position on the back and just screw it again. Hand tight, don't need to over tighten it. And that's the dead weight in place, ready to start the day. Okay, so we've got our fryer set up, we've got a filter pan in there ready to go. Let's get the fryer turned on. I'm always going to open the lid of my fryer before I turn it on, just to make sure I can see oil in the fry pot. That way we don't turn the fryer on with no oil in there. And then our little rocker switch on the left, just going to flick up into the cook position, and that will start the fryer, get itself ready to heat up. It's asking us just to confirm whether it's filled up or not, and I'm going to use 1 to say yes. I've opened my lid and checked it, so I'll press button 1. And now the fryer will start its heat up process. Little Joshy top tip to utilise the heat up time of the fryer. We want to season our cooking racks, and that will help stop your product from sticking to them when we do our first couple of cooks of the day. So seasoning is getting oil and heat into the racks, and that just helps prevent that stick. So I'm going to lower my basket into the fryer as it's going through its heat up mode in the morning. And then when it gets up to temperature, I'll lift that out, and that will be my racks nicely seasoned, ready to start the day. The fryer's come out of its heat up mode in the morning, so we're now in idle mode, ready to select our product. First heat of the day, so I've had my basket in there, seasoning. I'm gonna let that sit there for a little bit just to have the excess drip off. And I'm ready to use my fryer. Now, because the way that we cook in a forehead is different to open frying, we've got different starting temperatures for all of our different products. We want to try and utilise the fryer being in idle mode as much as possible. The set point's much lower. The easiest way to get the forehead to work for us is going to be to set the fryer before we start getting our product ready. so the fryer has a chance to heat itself up, get itself up to temperature while we're doing our preparation. So utilising the time that we're prepping to get the fryer up to temperature for that specific product. I've got my timer buttons down the bottom on buttons 1 through to 0. I'm going to select the product that I am currently wanting to cook. So let's say we're going to do 4 heads of chicken. I'll press button number 2 for my 4 heads based on the label. And now you can see that the fryer is heating itself up for that product. So at the moment we've got our wait light flashing. We're not ready to drop anything yet. We're waiting for our ready light to go green, and that will be our indicator that it's time to cook. So now I will turn around, prep my chicken. Our fryer is now ready to drop. The ready light's gone green. So we can bring our basket over now with our product on it, hang it on the side there. Use my handle now to lower it in nice and safely. And then I'm just going to shut my lid. And we're going to turn our handle 2 full turns until we get the red matching the red. We know our lid is correctly locked when the red on our spindle matches the red on our lid lock. So we're always turning red to red. So this is actually going to be, this is not going to be a Joshy top tip, this is a Brooksy best practice. So we want to go red to red for your safety. The lid is fully closed, so we're not going to let any steam out the sides, and also the lid pin then locks itself into place, reducing the chance of us being able to open the lid and then getting a face full of steam. Do not try and open the lid whilst there's pressure in it anyway, just for your safety, but that's why we're going red to red there. And then I'm going to press my clock to start the cook. We can see how long's left in the cook on the screen. We've got pressure assist on this fryer, so we can hear the pressure being manually added in. And what we're trying to do when we're cooking is getting our dial on the back into the green zone. That's our perfect amount of pressure to be pressure cooking with. So our cook is coming towards an end. The fryer's ejected all of its steam as per my cooking profile. So my dial's gone back down into the 0, which means my lid will be able to be unlocked when the cook is done. We're going to press the clock to stop that beeping. And the fryer's going to go back into idle mode, and then we're under our lid by turning our spindle, lifting our lid up, lifting our basket out, and Joshy top tip number 4 for our pressure fryer. Let's leave our basket on the side for 30 seconds so any excess oil drips off back into the fryer rather than all over the floor. Yoink. And then another Joshy top tip, I like to wipe my lid down every time after I cook. We're going to have some condensation that builds up on there, so we get rid of that. That helps keep our lid and our lid gasket in good condition. It's going to get oily around the top, the screen's going to get oily, floury, so I'm going to use a bit of blue roll just to wipe any oil off from around the lid. And then I might want to just give it a bit of a spray with some kitchen sanitizer. The fryer has some filter tracking built into it. We've got ours set up on a global setting, so all of our cooks just count as 1. And we've got our number in the middle, letting us know how many cooks are left. It's going to start asking us to do a during service filter. When that reaches 0, that's when it's going to come with a message saying, give me a filter now. But if we're proactive about it and we do it early when we've got the time, that will reset our number back to our full allocation of whatever yours may be. So best practice, Brooksy's best practice here. Let's be proactive with our filtration and do it as often as we can. Keep the oil in its best possible condition, get the product coming out of it the best it can be, and avoid having to do as many filters during service when we want to be cooking in the fryers. So the cleaning process in the forehead is the same no matter if we're being proactive with it and doing it during service. It's the one that it's asking us to do, or if it's the end of the day filter to get the fryer completely cleaned down, ready for the next day. The only difference is going to be the amount of time you've got to do some of the extra cleaning in the vat. Now, during service, we might want to just do a quick version of this and drop the oil down, fill it back up. End of the day, we're going to get in there, we're going to give it a good clean out so that there's none of that debris left. So the oil's sat in a nice clean fryer ready for us to turn on the following day. But the actual process itself is the same. I'm going to turn our fryer off by putting the rocker switch down into the off position. I'm going to put my glove on so I'm safe, because I'm going to put my hand near the fryer now. We're going to start with using our scraper here just to scrape off any debris, that little tide mark that forms around the top. And then we might use a skimmer just to get rid of any floaty bits in the oil, just to help the oil drain a bit better. And then I'm going to get inside. We've got two valve handles down here. We've got the one on the left which operates our drain, and we've got the one on the right that operates our return. So I want to drain the oil out here. I'm going to open it halfway, and as long as the oil's draining, then I can get in there now with my big toothbrush and just go around the edges and give the fryer a bit of a stir, and that'll just help agitate any of the debris in the fryer so it starts going down the drain hole. We'll open the lever fully here and let the rest of it come down. We can just get in there and give it a bit of an agitate. Any of that sediment in the base now. You can see how cloudy the oil's gone from that sediment. Should be getting sucked down. If the oil's not draining well, I could get in there with my drain hole brush to give it a bit of a poke, clear any blockages. And then if I've got enough time here, I might go around the edges with green fabric scourer and just give the outside of it a bit of a tidy up. Again, the amount of time you're going to spend on this is going to be dictated by the time you've got to have the fryer out of action here. Always wear PPE suitable to your company standards. If we get to this point and we've still got some sediment in the bottom of the fryer and we want to get rid of that now, then I might fill it up a little bit and then do that drain again with the brushes to agitate that down there. So we can close our drain lever, we can open our return lever, and then flick our pump on the rocker switch to get a bit of oil pumping back up. And then as soon as I've got some oil in the vat there, I could open my drain again, get in there with my brush, and again we're just going to use the oil to help all that sediment, pull it down towards the drain. I might need to close my drain again if it's really dirty, like ours is. Open the drain again. Really do a good job here of getting the majority of my sediment down. I'll turn the pump off quickly just to pull the rest of that debris down into the hole. So it's now out of the fryer. I'm now happy that the fryer's clean. I'm ready to fill the fryer back up now, so I'm going to close my drain valve, and then I'm going to open my return valve, and I'm going to switch my rocker lever into the pump position. And now the fryer will start to fill back up. And then we can see the fryer is nearly fully filled now. We're going to start to see some bubbles in a second as the pump's now just sucking a bit of air up from the filter pan. Give it 30 seconds just to get as much of that oil back out of the filter pan as we can. I'm going to turn my rocker switch into the off position, and then I need to remember to close my return lever before I turn it back on. The levers are designed to point in different directions when they're in the closed, ready to use position. Really important that we pay attention to that. If I leave my return lever open, then oil will still be draining back through the return point into the filter pan when I have the fryer on and in use, and eventually you're going to have no oil in your fryer. So pointing in different positions, ready to use. If any of them are pointing in the same direction, one of them is open whilst the other one is closed. We're ready to turn the fryer back on now, so we'll flick our rocker switch back up into the cook position. And the fryer will just ask us now to confirm it's filled back up, and just double check in the top, make sure there is oil in there, and then we can use the one to say yes, and it will start heating itself back up now. So just to recap, the filtering process is the same whether we're doing it during service or end of the day. We're going to be draining our oil down and then filling our oil back up. The only difference is going to be the amount of time you've got to spend cleaning inside the fry pot. So end of the day, we want to give it a really good clean, get in there with the brushes, scrub our sides down, tidy it up. During service, great if we've got time to do that. If not, let's just do a quick version of it where we're going to drop it down, pump it back up to get rid of some of the sediment. And then the last three things we're going to do end of the day to get the fry ready for the next day is we're going to take out our condensation pan, empty the water in there out, give that a good clean. We're going to take our filter pan out once it's cooled down. Now be careful here, because if we've just had a filter go through it, it will still be warm, so we might want to leave it half an hour to cool down first, or wear the appropriate PPE to pull it out and move it. I can then leave that to dry overnight, ready for assembly in the morning. And we want to take our dead weight off every single night and give that a good clean. That will help stop it from sticking, so that we're cooking with the correct amount of pressure the next day. We've got to the point where we think we need to do a full oil change. Let's do that in the morning when the oil's cold, before we've heated it up. There's no specific disposal process on a forehead. We're just going to drop down into some sort of container to then take that to our disposal method. If you're looking for a solution to oil disposal, we have got some of those available here at Jestic, so get in touch. But the process is quite straightforward. Either a gastronome underneath the drain valve to drain the oil into you using the filter pan. If we're going to drop into the filter pan, we don't necessarily need to have the stuff inside the filter pan. We're not filtering it, we're not cleaning it. We're just going to use the filter pan itself to carry it over to our disposal method. But make sure we're doing that in the morning when the oil's cold. And then when it comes to filling the fryer up, let's make sure we've shut our drain lever before we pour the oil in. Fresh oil straight in the top of the fryer. Fill to the minimum line when it's cold, so it can expand as it heats. And then we're going to try and sit on top of that maximum line during the day when we're cooking in the fryer. Thanks for watching. If you guys have got any questions related to anything here at Jestic, get in touch using info@jestic.co.uk.